Hey everybody, David the AI Guide here. Welcome to another episode of the AI Guide. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, where we're going to do shorts of breaking stories that we're not going to do a full video on. And those are going to get more and more frequent because the pace of innovation and development in AI is growing exponentially, as we've talked about, and that means more and more and more stories every week, too much to keep up with on 2 videos a week. But today's topic is pretty cool, and it is about German car maker BMW and chip maker Nvidia. So Nvidia, all you gamers probably know, because they make a lot of the gaming chips for high-end games, both streaming and desktop games. Nvidia has become a powerhouse in chip making, and most particularly recently has become a powerhouse in chip making specifically for AI. So AI requires different things than a regular chipset, right? Why? Because you have very advanced algorithms and you have massive data sets. So you need these huge sets of data for the algorithms to read, to train themselves. That's deep learning, or even with regular machine learning, where the algorithm is not training itself, but is trained by providing examples that are labeled. You're still providing millions of examples, and these algorithms, regardless, are becoming more and more sophisticated. So here's what BMW is up to, and it's very cool. And Nvidia has been helping them leverage breakthroughs in AI to accomplish new things. So what Nvidia has done in particular most recently is help BMW create what BMW says is a perfect simulation of their factory floor. And BMW, this article was talking about a new factory that BMW is building in Regensburg, Germany. And it's to build transmissions and drivetrains and stuff like that, but it could be used for anything. Right? So what Nvidia has done, they developed a software that goes with their chips called Omniverse, and it has allowed BMW to create a perfect, exact duplicate of their production process. And with the algorithms, what they're able to do is find out places that are going to cause problems in their production process, and even if there isn't a problem, the algorithms are able to suggest changes to make the process much more efficient and faster. This is manufacturing 4th level, as they call it, Industry 4.0 manufacturing 4th level. So this is really cool because these factories can cost tens to hundreds of millions and potentially billions of dollars. These are very sophisticated, very large, high volume factories, and they're very, very expensive. So if you can do a perfect simulation of it before you build it so it works great right out of the gate. Because in manufacturing, one of the biggest problems when a new facility is built is what they call the shakedown period, which can last 6 to 12 months. So if you go out and you build a whole new factory from the ground up, ground prep, build the building, buy the machinery, install it, and then start to bring it online, and you have to keep tweaking it. This is a very difficult process, and a lot of mistakes are made. And what BMW is finding with this simulation software by NVIDIA and the NVIDIA chips is that they're able to shortcut that whole process and have the thing work great out of the gate at high speed. This, I cannot tell you what a huge change for manufacturing this is for new facilities. Huge. Think about it. If you can save a year of troubleshooting a new factory with new equipment and go straight into your optimal production level, you have increased the return on investment of that facility big time. And it makes it far easier to design and build new facilities because you're confident that they're going to work the way that you thought they were going to work. This isn't the only thing that Nvidia has been helping BMW with. BMW has a lot of processes, and we've talked about robotics and how robots can do certain things on the assembly line, but they can't do everything because they're not flexible enough yet. They have to move in certain patterns. They're just not quite at the level where they can do every job. They will be. And that's when the big change comes for factory workers, which is why we started the AI Guide, to prepare you for what's coming and help you transition to an AI-proof career. Critical with what's happening. So what BMW is doing with Nvidia is they're using other chips and software to make continuous improvements in their robots that are allowing their factory floor robots to do more and more tasks that previously could only be done by humans. So this is another aspect of the convergence of multiple technologies leading to AI-driven robotics taking over jobs and eliminating these jobs from the economy. Now, this is still very early, and that's why even though people read about it and hear about it and they're worried, they're really not taking action. But now is the time to take action. Prepare now. Don't wait until you're unemployed along with hundreds of thousands or millions of other people or tens of millions of other people. Prepare now. So you can tell BMW, being a luxury car maker, is cutting edge. They are driven to continuously improve both their products, the cars they make, and their processes, including all of their manufacturing processes. And you can tell from what we've just described that AI is dramatically empowering them to improve their manufacturing process before they start a new production line or build a new facility, and or to sequentially improve their robots and what their robots can do. And the robots will take over more and more and more jobs because robots don't need paid time off. They don't need weekends. They don't need holidays. They don't make mistakes, and they can work 24 hours a day. We talk about this when I talk to companies. I talk about this, how an AI-driven robot, if there is one available for their particular industry and what they need it to do. If there isn't, there will be soon. But if there is, then they can set the robot up, go home, let the thing run all night, and come in, and in the morning, a bunch of work is done overnight that wouldn't have been done. So think about it this way. You own a factory or you run a factory, and all of a sudden you can increase your output by at least 50% because of robotics being able to run overnight and put out more and more and more work, even with the challenge of hiring manufacturing staff, which is a huge challenge in manufacturing. Just Google manufacturing jobs, and you'll see that right now, today, there's 1 million manufacturing jobs open, not filled, because a lot of people don't want to work in manufacturing now, or they don't have the skills, and they aren't willing to start at the bottom and learn the skills and move up. Robotics is going to happen big time in manufacturing because of the labor shortage. Another area where there's a labor shortage that we've talked about is trucking, huge labor shortage. They will fill that hole with robots, aka self-driving trucks. So thanks. There's a free resource. Click the link. Be sure to get this. It'll teach you much, much more about AI, because here we talk about things currently happening in AI or historical things that have happened in AI, but we focus on their human impact. We don't really talk about really technical details of AI here. The resources that we give you will give you more of that background, but not at a super technical level. You can handle it. These are easy reads, easy to do, easy, free resources. Thanks. Take care. Talk to you next time. Have a good week.